Koyani Squatsi.
Late Carl Sagan said, "We've arranged a global civilization in which most crucial elements profoundly depend on science and technology. We've also arranged things so that almost no one understands science or technology. We might get away with it for a while, but sooner or later, this combustible mixture of ignorance and power is going to blow up in our faces."
What I think we're looking at is more evidence that there was a high civilization that we have lost track of. We have forgotten a very important part of our story. And fragments of that story crop up all around the world.
I mentioned that these solar sneezes occur on a cyclic basis, and it happened back into antiquity. And we have information that a Army whistleblower is being prepared to come forward to bring a lot of very interesting information about what they've been doing in the Grand Canyon. If you study the U.S. Army's activity in the Grand Canyon, they took over that area, a couple hundred years ago, and took a lot of it away from the natives, of course. What they found is a cavern system that goes deep down into the earth, just giant cracks, basically, that go deep down into the earth that you can navigate fairly easily, and they open up into larger caverns. And in those larger caverns, they found big adobe villages. It was very obvious that a population had survived there for a long term. And they found a lot of other interesting things, including giants with elongated skulls. That's information that I'm told that this U.S. Army whistleblower is going to be bringing out very soon.
Any word, and I show you how the root of that word is Greek. Okay? How about arachnophobia? Arachna, that comes from the Greek word for spider, and phobia is mean fear. So fear of spider, there you go.
Mythology, the spoken story of a people. Think if there existed unknown ancient knowledge in scrolls, texts, and books. It is believed that few people from our known past knew how to write and read. Therefore, stories of history were passed down through civilizations and have become known as mythology and legends. The word myth has generally come to identify any story that is believed to be a work of fiction. Early scientists and philosophers questioned the truth or validity of their traditional myths. Thus began the skepticism that would forever change the meaning of the word. However, when analyzing myths and legends, it is important to understand the evolution of the word. So not surprisingly, these were the top definitions that showed up when I did a Google search for the word mythology. Mythology, the spoken story of a people.
Never die. These stories are going to be yours. Your responsibility to carry on for the next generation. All ethnic groups around the world have an idea or a belief as to where did this world come from? Where did the sun come from? Where did the moon? And they have a belief of creation. Well, as Lakota people, we still talk about our origin story. We talk about an entity we refer to as Ea. Ea was a power, a massive power. very powerful, that nothing else could exist except for Ea. Ea at a point took a part of itself and began to form this orb, and squeezing tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter, until what oozed out of it looked like its blue blood, leaving a half hard, brittle body. And Ea called it Makha, earth. Makha existed in total darkness. Ea took other parts of itself and created Apewi, the sun, Hanwewi, the moon, Wichakpi Oyate, the stars, the galaxies, the universe. And time went on. Could you give me a covering, something to protect myself? Ea, in counsel with the other entities of itself, told Makha, if we give you a covering, you must promise to bring forth life and to nourish it. Makha promised, and so life went on. Life went on for time, a very long time, but at a point life became ugly, very corrupt, senseless destruction, killing. Makha said, this is not the way that life is intended to be upon me. I must cleanse. Makha, this one-half landmass, shaking and shaking, shaking so hard that the one-half landmass broke apart, separating the peoples into the different continents. And life went on. But at a point again, eons of time later, life again became very corrupt. Now try to imagine all of these catastrophes happening all at the same time. Earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, hurricanes, hundreds of them, hundreds of tornadoes. Makha said, I must cleanse again. Those of you that are keeping the ways of life as intended to be, come deep down inside me.
And in those larger caverns, they found big adobe villages.
Where I may protect you. Again, these catastrophes. And it came in the form of the Ice Age.
Advanced, sophisticated cultures that arose before the end of the last Ice Age. So we can think in round terms of about 10,000 BC. There was a natural catastrophe that occurred at 9700 BC, snapped us out of the Ice Age, and what I've determined and piecing the evidence together is that what caused it at 9700 BC was a major solar outburst.
Changing the surface of the world. We have a trickster in our culture. We call him Iktomi. Iktomi was walking around in the Black Hills. It was an era of giants, dinosaurs, and bears.
And they found a lot of other interesting things, including giants with elongated skulls.
So he came out from hiding, listening to that breathing. He followed it, and he came upon this opening in the ground. Peered down into that opening and felt the wind come up, and the wind being drawn back in. He looked down into the opening, and he saw the subterranean species living deep down in that hold, calling down to them. He said, come up here, come here. On for a time again, but again, as two-leggeds, we became overbearing. Again, no respect, no honor. So at a point in time, they sent to us from the Buffalo Nation the white buffalo calf woman, bringing to us the sacred pipe to remind us that there is to be a spiritual connection of what is on this earth is in the stars. It's in the universe, and what's in the stars is on this earth, and the spiritual connection must be kept. Remember that story. Thank you.
you look at all those headlines, the smallest of the giants that they found in the 18 and 1900s were 7 to 8 feet tall. They also had very distorted kind of features, and some of them are up to 16 feet. Well, the Smithsonian may have come in and got them all, but recently the archaeology of San Canyon Pueblo, this is being done by the University in southeastern Colorado, they are investigating an area that's connected to the ancient Anasazi, those that built the cliff dwellings, and actually even their name, the Anasazi, means an ancient alien enemy, right? And the giants are drawn on their petroglyphs on the walls and all of that, right? Yeah. Well, they've been excavating what appears to have been an Anasazi community that was suddenly attacked. And whatever happened to them doesn't compare to any other kind of tribal wars that they've ever excavated. They also found 2 giant Anasazi. The Anasazi were very small people, 4.5 to 5 feet tall. These are over 7 feet, just like the early giants that were being excavated here in the U.S. and hidden away by the Smithsonian. Not only that, they have polydactyly. They have 6 fingers on each hand. They have 6 toes on each foot, from 2 Samuel. And from Scripture. So now we have evidence that didn't get covered up by the Smithsonian. They date that site to the same time Moses was writing the Pentateuch, saying there were giants in the earth in those days and also after that. 1,500 years before the time of Christ.
We always say, that might be your ancestor, but it's not our ancestor. He is a relative, but not our ancestor. Over 95% of our body is water. And in order to stay healthy, you got to drink good water. If the Europeans had lived the Indian way when they came, we'd still be drinking out of water, because the water is sacred. The air is sacred. Our DNA is made of the same DNA as the tree. The tree breathes what we exhale. When the tree exhales, we need what the tree exhales. So we have a common destiny with the tree. We are all from the earth. And when the earth, the water, the atmosphere is corrupted, then it will create its own reaction. Mother is reacting. To me, it's not a negative thing to know that there will be great changes. It's not negative. It's evolution. When you look at it as evolution, it's time. Nothing stays the same. You should learn how to plant something. That's the first connection.
For every sickness, every illness, they send into the 2-leggeds. We have a root, we have a medicine, an herb. And so the balance was kept, and life went on.
You should treat all things as spirit. Realize that we are one family.
To remind us that there is to be a spiritual connection of what is on this earth is in the stars. It's in the universe, and what's in the stars is on this earth.
It's never something like the end. Just like life, there is no end to life.
Thank you for watching, and much love to you all.